Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield what time she may consume to the gentlelady from Georgia, Ms. McBath.
Gentlelady from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you so much to the Ranking Member of Education and Workforce. I just have to say, today we're here considering a bill that's named the Protect Our Kids Act. So I'm going to speak and shift this conversation a little bit in the direction I think we really need to be going. This bill, Protect Our Kids Act, does absolutely nothing to protect our kids. Just 5 days after 3 children and a 21-year-old were shot and killed in a mass shooting at a birthday party in Stockton, California, is a level of tone deafness that I don't think I've seen during my 7 years here in Washington. There are 4 families that are burying their children this week. 4 families that are burying their kids, just like I had to when my son, Jordan, was murdered simply for playing loud music in his car. 8-year-old Journey Rose, 9-year-old Maya Lupian, and 14-year-old Amari Peterson will never get the experience that they deserve or the promise that this country offers. They will never get that chance, all because they went to a birthday party and this Congress refuses to do anything about it time and time again. I don't know how many times I have to stand here on this floor to debate, to talk about the numbers of children and people that are dying in this country, and we call this bill Protect Our Kids Act. It does absolutely nothing. You're deflecting over and over and over again against the real crimes against our children. But you want to bring this bill to the floor today that will do absolutely nothing to protect our children. The real way to protect kids is to keep them safe from unnecessary gun violence. That's what we should be doing with this time. But my Republican colleagues refuse to talk anything about protecting children from unnecessary gun violence. And over again, I cannot tell you how many times I'm meeting families every single day. I get alerts from my staff every single day of every mass murder, of every tragedy in this country, and it is overwhelming. So excuse me if we're going to sit here and talk about protect our kids. If you're really willing to do that, then you bring up gun violence prevention legislation. You bring up policy that really does the very thing that you are pretending through this bill to protect our children. There is no greater threat to our kids in school, no greater threat to them at church, at their birthday parties, or any other private or public space across this country than gun violence. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, that was a very important step that we took. We did really good work, not just for Democratic children, but for Republican children as well. But we must do more to keep our children safe. Shootings are the leading cause of death for children and teenagers in this country. And yes, my Republican colleagues, you have children and families that are dying by gun violence every single day, just like us here in the Democratic Party. But you would never know that from this bill or when we're listening to you, our Republican colleagues. But for people like me, for people who have buried their son or their loved one, their daughter, their big sister, or their little brother before their time, we know really what's at stake. We cannot continue to play this game over and over and over again, fooling the American people and telling them that we're protecting their interests, protecting their families, protecting their children with pieces of legislation like this that absolutely do nothing to protect our children. We know this cannot wait. And I'm just so sick and tired of the tone deafness of every time we get here on the floor and you want to put forth a piece of legislation that fools the American people into believing that we're really working on their interests, on their behalf, but really it's not doing that at all. We know that the longer we do nothing, the more likely it is for someone else to have their family torn apart like I have, for someone else to attend a wake or a funeral instead of a wedding or a graduation ceremony. It doesn't have to be this way. I just, if you want to say, celebrated the 12th anniversary of my son's murder. So if you want to talk about protecting our kids, let's really do that, not this facade. Columbine, Newtown, Las Vegas, Uvalde, Lewiston, Stockton. Your home does not have to be next, but trust me, my colleagues, every single one of us in this body has people that are dying every single day in our constituencies. We should be using this time to really protect our kids, not just act like we're protecting them while this Republican Congress does nothing about these tragedies at all. I encourage all of my colleagues to oppose this bill, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentleman from Virginia